Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and today we are going to level a pad for a swimming pool. I've done a few of these over the years, and I've done them different ways. A lot of times what happens, if you just have a regular yard in town and you look at it and you say, that's pretty level, and you go out and put your pool up, you find out it's way further off than you thought it was. And that's the case here. They put the pool up, filled it with water, and there was about a foot difference from one side to the other on a small pool, and that won't work. So today I've brought the mini skid steer over. We're going to try using that for leveling. This machine is capable of grading, but I have really not personally graded with it, so it's going to be a learning experience for me in that regard. So before we even check anything, they know from filling it up that this is the low side and the high side's across from it. I'm going to go ahead and probably pull 4 inches of dirt off the high side, bring it over the low side, track it all in, then we'll start working the level. The first pool I ever did like this was 30-foot diameter. I was in my early 20s and there was an 18-inch height difference from one side to the other, and I leveled that entire thing with a shovel and a rake. And I cannot even imagine doing that today. So I guess I need to get in better shape. My plan for leveling this was the transit level, but my receiver's not working for it. So I just, standing here in the yard, ordered a new receiver. So we're going to be using a 2x6 and this 6-foot level to do the leveling. The way I've done it in the past was with the string level, but I don't have that with me. So we'll make it work with what we've got, I'm sure. So it's not even close to level. There's waves and dips and high points in it, but we're far enough in to take some measurements and find out if our previous highest point and our previous lowest point are even with each other. We get those two even with each other, then we can work out from there to get everything else level. Using the board with the stick level, I think is a little bit more problematic. So I've sent my daughter, who lives here, to the Tractor Supply in town to pick up a string level. I think that's going to give us a lot more accurate result because you can check all along the string. With that board, if you don't have a flat place to set the board, and we tried to set it on little blocks and stuff, you can do it. But for this span, it's going to be more difficult to level off of a board like that. So I can definitely tell from trying that with the level, we've got a low spot that I dug over here, and we're a little bit low in this corner. And they said they thought it was about a foot difference, but I've only went down about 4 or 5 inches and moved that 4 or 5 inches to this side. And now this side looks to be maybe an inch or two low. So I'm going to move a little bit from what I can see eyeballing it, and then we're going to set up a string level. There are always multiple ways to accomplish the same job. And I could have brought the John Deere tractor or the TYM tractor. I considered bringing a tiller and just tilling up the entire area and making it easier to move the dirt around, but decided the fact that they had already killed the grass off in this spot,
I didn't think it would be that difficult, and it really wasn't. This machine has great power to push into a pile. And even though it doesn't compare to a full-size skid steer, and the bucket is much more narrow, the feeling you get of grading with it is very similar. Because it's on tracks, you can feel it whenever you go across an uneven area. And if you put the bucket all the way down and flatten it out, you can really just skim the surface exactly the way you would with a full-size skid.
So we've set a piece of rebar in the center of the work area, driven that into the ground, tied a string 12 inches up the rebar, and then we measured out 10 foot of string because it's an 18-foot pool. We want to make a 20-foot flat spot. And then on the other end of the string, we have my grade stick, and I tied the string 1 foot up that. So we're 1 foot up the rebar, 1 foot up that, and there's a line level hanging in the middle that is currently perfectly level. So we are level from the low spot, the previous low spot, to the center. Now we just need to walk that around and compare. Can't even measure it without taking a scoop out or shortening the string. I think I should just scoop a little, take that down to match the rest. Why don't we check it down here first by just doing that? As long as the string is still crossing at a foot high on the last wrap. Okay, so we are pretty level. If you come up, is that level right there? Mm-hmm. We're within a half an inch of level right here, and we need to take that further back. Okay. Okay, so just kind of pull it out of the way there. You can unroll it, and I'll widen out our circle. String's got to be tight. Wait for it to quit moving. Raise it up just a half an inch or so. Yeah, okay, come here. That spot right there is level, so now we need to check over here. I think you're kind of on a bump. Come over just a little bit. That's, yeah. So basically this whole side, it's not, there's a little bit of a wave, like I think it drops a little bit, and then, but not too bad. Now we need to check out here. I think we're going to be high out here.
I would say that reasonable minds could disagree about the best way to do this job with the machinery I had available. But one thing that is pretty clear is using a string level is a pain. And it's cheap. I mean, a string level costs $3, and the string's not expensive either. But the difference between that string level and a transit level is night and day. Not only in ease of use, but just the quality of the finished product. Because it's really hard with the string to check this at 100 points. It's slow to check it at all different ranges throughout the pad. Whereas with the rotary laser level, which isn't technically a transit, but that's what I call it. But with the rotary laser level, it's just so quick and easy to take measurements all through the work area. The level that I've been using has worked great for me for about 5 years now. At least 5 years I've had it, and I use it quite a bit. And then I left it sitting outside and it got rained on, and I think it sat out there for like a month, and I had forgot that I leaned it up against the side of the building. So the receiver quit working and I've had to order a replacement. But if anybody's in the market for a good level to make projects like this easier, I'll put a link in the video description and the pinned comment to the one I use. So once the pad was level, I helped them set their little pool back up, and then we ran the string level across the top pipe. And it seems like it's pretty darn level. Definitely good enough to work anyway.
All right, well, I'm loaded up and headed home. I guess this was a successful project. I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. Put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.